The baseball world stopped. Right at the moment when Shohei Ohtani was supposed to be dominating the mound, ruling the All-Star ballot, and chasing history on two fronts, the news came out that shook every fan from Los Angeles to Tokyo. His left knee. Fluid. Drainage. A procedure. And a pitching coach's words that no Dodger fan ever wanted to hear. What is really happening with Shohei Ohtani's body? And how serious is this? Today, we are going to break it all down from every angle: the medical reality, the performance numbers, and what this means for the Cy Young race, the MVP chase, and the Dodgers' bid for an unprecedented three-peat. Let's start with what we actually know. Ohtani has been dealing with left knee irritation for at least a month. His outing against the Pittsburgh Pirates on June 11th was cut short because of inflammation in the knee. The Dodgers tried to manage it quietly, hoping rest and treatment between starts would be enough. But heading into the final series before the All-Star break, the decision was made to pull Ohtani from his scheduled start against the Arizona Diamondbacks and instead have the fluid drained from his left knee on Sunday, a procedure that will also force him to miss the All-Star game in Philadelphia. What struck everyone was not just the injury itself, it was Ohtani's own words afterward. After the game, he gave more insight into the knee injury. "It affects more of my pitching rather than the hitting side of the game," Ohtani said via his interpreter. "Although I could have started today, it would have still been pushing the envelope a little bit. Think about what that means. This is Shohei Ohtani, a man who played through Tommy John surgery rumors, who has never once publicly complained about his body, now openly admitting he was pushing the envelope. That tells you everything." What do you make of that admission? I think what Ohtani said is extremely important, and people should not overlook it. When he says, pushing the envelope, what he is really saying is that there was a risk. He knew it. The Dodgers knew it. And they made the right decision to stop. But the fact that it even reached that point is concerning. Ohtani has a history of knee problems, having been born with a bipartite patella, which led to him having surgery back in 2019. One of the symptoms of the condition is dealing with inflammation or irritation at times. The surgery was meant to end any issues with the left knee related to the condition, but similar symptoms have arisen. This is the part that worries people deeply. Because it's not a random injury. It's the same knee. The same condition. And now it has flared up again at the most critical stage of the season. From a pitching mechanics standpoint, how does a left knee problem affect a right-handed pitcher like Ohtani? This is something most fans don't fully appreciate. When a right-handed pitcher drives off the mound, the landing leg, the left leg, absorbs an enormous amount of force. Every single pitch, that left knee is taking the full impact of Ohtani's delivery. When he throws a 100 miles per hour fastball, when he snaps off that sharp sweeper, the force traveling through that left knee is immense. If there is inflammation or excess fluid in the joint, the stability of that landing is compromised. The pitcher instinctively compensates, adjusting arm angle, shortening stride, pulling back on explosive mechanics, and those small compensations show up in the numbers. And indeed, the numbers have already started to tell that story. Ohtani's effectiveness as a pitcher has diminished somewhat in his past 4 starts. He allowed 12 earned runs in 24 2/3 innings in a span corresponding with the left knee irritation. Ohtani had given up only 5 runs in his first 10 starts. Let that sink in. 5 runs in 10 starts. Then 12 runs in 4 starts. The knee timeline and the performance decline are not a coincidence. They are directly connected. From a hitter's perspective, and Ohtani faces hitters every 5 days, does a pitcher with a compromised knee feel different to face? Absolutely. And in a very specific way. The fear that a pitcher like Ohtani creates in a batter is built on unpredictability. You never know what's coming. His fastball can be 99 miles per hour, his sweeper can disappear out of the zone, and he can locate both at will. But when a pitcher is managing pain in his landing leg, the release point becomes slightly inconsistent. The fastball that usually explodes through the zone arrives just a fraction flatter. The sweeper that usually breaks late breaks a little earlier. And hitters, even subconsciously, pick up on those tiny differences. that's when hard contact starts happening. That's exactly what we saw in those 4 starts. It wasn't that Ohtani was pitching badly, it was that the margin that separates elite from dangerous had narrowed because of that knee. So what exactly does the procedure involve, and how long will this set Ohtani back? Manager Dave Roberts revealed Ohtani was due to have fluid drained from his knee and likely would receive a cortisone injection. The Dodgers don't expect the procedure to affect Ohtani's availability as a pitcher in the second half of the season, but Roberts said it was too early to know where he would be slotted in the Dodgers' 6-man rotation following the All-Star break. The Dodgers are trying to frame this as a maintenance procedure. And maybe it is. But the timing, combined with the history of this specific knee, makes it impossible to be completely calm about it. Draining fluid from a joint is not a minor thing. It means the body was producing more fluid than the knee could absorb, a signal of ongoing inflammation of a joint under significant stress. The cortisone injection will reduce that inflammation temporarily. But cortisone does not fix the underlying issue. If the mechanical stress continues, the fluid will return. That's the question no one in the Dodgers organization wants to answer out loud. What happens if the fluid comes back in August? What happens in September, with a pennant race on the line? And this brings us to the bigger picture, the Cy Young Award race. Ohtani is 8-2 on the mound with a 1.79 ERA and 95 strikeouts in 85 2/3 innings. Those numbers are still historically remarkable. But the Cy Young Award is not awarded at the All-Star break. It is awarded at the end of the season, and innings pitched will be a decisive factor. Every start Ohtani misses due to this knee, whether now or later, is a start that his rivals will use to build their case. Right now, Ohtani still holds every advantage in terms of pure dominance. His ERA, his strikeout rate, his ability to control the game, all of it remains elite. But the knock on him heading into the second half is clear. Can a two-way player who just had his knee drained maintain the workload needed to win the Cy Young? That is a fair and uncomfortable question. What needs to happen for Ohtani to come back stronger in the second half? The All-Star break is actually a gift in disguise here. The Dodgers are due to return to the field on Friday against the New York Yankees, giving Ohtani nearly 10 days of rest combined with the procedure. If the drainage and injection do what they are supposed to do, reduce the inflammation and restore the stability of that joint, then Ohtani could return to the mound with mechanics that are no longer compensating for pain. That means the fastball gets its life back. The sweeper gets its depth back. And the mental clarity that comes from pitching without managing discomfort? That might be the biggest factor of all. Because here is what fans and analysts sometimes forget about Shohei Ohtani. His greatest weapon has never just been his stuff. It is his mind. His ability to make adjustments mid-inning, mid-at-bat, mid-game. When you are pitching through pain, a portion of that mental processing is being diverted to managing the body. Remove the pain, and that processing power comes back fully. Ohtani is batting .293 with 22 home runs and 58 runs batted in at the plate, while as a pitcher he is 8-2 with 95 strikeouts and a 1.79 earned run average. Even injured, even managing a knee that required drainage, he hit his 300th career home run this week, becoming the first Japanese-born player in the majors to reach that milestone. That is the kind of player we are talking about. The kind who makes history even on the days he is hurting. Nothing is going to fall in front of being healthy for October. Manager Dave Roberts said. That is the Dodgers' North Star right now. Not the All-Star game. Not individual awards. October. The Dodgers could become the first National League club ever to win 3 consecutive World Series titles, the first overall since the Yankees won from 1998 to 2000. That is the mission. And Ohtani, even through the pain, understands it completely. The real test begins after the break. If his knee responds well to treatment, if the mechanics return to their natural form, and if the Dodgers manage his workload intelligently through August and September, then we may look back at this moment not as the beginning of a decline, but as the turning point that made the second half even greater than the first. But if the fluid returns, if the compensation in his delivery deepens, If the innings totals fall short of what voters require, then this left knee could become the footnote on what was otherwise the most extraordinary two-way season in the history of baseball. Right now, all eyes are on that knee. And the baseball world is holding its breath.